Kurupt did an interview over at Art of Dialogue. He did a lot of segments. I wanted to see if you overall had any thoughts about it. And then I had a follow up question after you kind of tell me what you think about what Kurupt spoke on and if you agreed or disagreed with some of the things he talked about.
Okay. Yeah, man, I did something, and you, John, reposted something on an interview that I did recently, and that I said I wasn't going to speak on anymore, and all of that. Um, but other than that, I told you I have no qualms with Corrupt. He generally the best, in my opinion, other than, of course, Mutao does a great job on speaking the truth on Pac stuff. And Edie even did a good interview over there on my boy Cam Capone show recently. Um, Danny Boy, he's passionate with his interviews, and a lot of his interviews are done with passion, and so that's why I respect them. Uh, but corrupt, corrupt, y'all. Even though he has a lot of loyalty to the Dog Pound and their side of Death Row, uh, he keeps it 90% accurate. 100% of what he believes, but 90% accurate of what really happened. And that's high. That's a high number, coming especially from the hater Reggie Wright. Uh, and so I really respect and love hearing Corrupt talk, to be honest. I mean, he said some things that was unfactual, um, that we can bring evidence of to prove that that's a 2023 Corrupt speaking versus how they felt in 96 or 97. And I'll see what you ask me on the follow-up questions, and if he don't, I'll point out those mistakes that I saw in the interview.
So he spoke on that Snoop was the person to get Suge to bring Tupac to death row, um, in his opinion. Did you agree with that one?
No, I mean, we got audio with Suge where I believe you posted up recently. And for those that y'all don't see it, if John don't play it on this particular video, which I hope he would, but if he doesn't, then y'all go and check and view that video out. Where Suge outright, like I've been saying for years, anybody that's been really following us always said that it was Keisha that called the office and said that Pac wanted to talk to him. And it wasn't even a plan at that point or even a thought that they could get Pac out of prison. It was just on some homie love type stuff. And he went up there, saw him, and after 3 or 4 visits, we know what eventually happened. Um, so that's my opinion on that. Suge said it and Pac said it.
Yeah. Um, there were other things, about the jail cell at the Source Awards cut out and all that stuff, but I do understand Corrupt's um, reasoning. Obviously he makes his money with Snoop and he's in good over there, so I understand why he would give him all the credit. But one thing that I wanted to ask you about, um, why is it that you feel people never ask Corrupt about when he went back to death row in 2002? Because he's pretty adamant in that interview that he rode the train until it crashed, and that him and Dre were the first to leave. But no one ever asked him about, well, if that's the case, why'd you go back years later? And can you tell the story about why he went back years later?
Yeah. Well, he's mistaken. Not saying lying. There was a bunch of people that jumped off the train prior to that. RBX told y'all he did. Sam Snead told y'all he did. And Snoop didn't jump off. He was sold. Y'all don't like that word. He was sold off the train. And Kurupt, y'all know why Kurupt was sent home. There ain't no reason for me to keep hashing that scenario. But he didn't jump off. He was sent home. Sent and sold. But anyway, yeah. He was sent home to mommy. Because he was a bad boy. Bad boy. But anyway, what happened while Kurupt came back, y'all, is while Suge was in prison, there were these dudes that used to hang with Kurupt and probably had him signed to him. You know how you had the homeboy handshake agreements by the name of Lamont and Kenny Broomfield. Lamont was in a couple of videos, if y'all don't recognize him or know who he is. They were from 60 Crips. And they had some money allegedly invested in Kurupt. Some street stuff. But Kurupt was a juvenile. Kurupt was only like 16 or 17 years of age when they had this deal with Kurupt. Kurupt came to death row, represented that he didn't have any deals and all of that, got signed on. Lamont hanging out, being a groupie, taking pictures, being in videos and all of that. But as Kurupt's success got bigger, Lamont started saying, hey, he signed to me. We on this, Kurupt's on our label, which he ain't never took no contract, got certified with no course or anything. We go into court, but guess what? Death Row got this bad name, and juries hate Death Row and Suge Knight. And I think in like 2000, Suge in prison, and we go to court. The jury outright came back and told us, yeah, we believe all of this. We believe Suge had this orders and all of that, and we know that this guy Lamont didn't blow Kurupt up and all of it, agree to everything. But we don't like that name, Death Row Records. That's why we changed the name from Death Row after that. I came back and told Suge, and that's why he changed his name to The Row, and Murder Inc. changed their name to The Inc. That's the real behind that, because it's like, all right, because after 9/11, America, y'all was some soft motherfuckers after 9/11. We all was hating death and murder and killing and all of that. We just changed. America changed, and then it wasn't for all of that. And so we try to change the name and be more acceptable to America. But the bottom line, the jury said, we're gonna give y'all we want to put him out of business. Give him a $10 million judgment, because that's what all we said we had and was worth at the time. And they said, we want this guy, and when he come home, he can start something up new. And if he just genius and creative like we everybody's saying in this trial, he can come home and create something new. We hate Death Row Records. And so we went through that. The judge even, after that jury said that, and we hired some appeal attorneys, the judge even dropped the judgment down to like $4 million, from $10 million down to $4 million. So now we still we ain't giving these niggas no $4 million. So that's when I come up, refinance the building and all of that. And we come up with $8 million, because y'all don't know, you got to have 1.5 times whatever your judgment is to file an appeal. So we put the money up in court for appeal bond. So we have $8.6 million, almost $9 million sitting over there in like an escrow the whole time. So she'll come home, be like, Red, all that money sitting over there. He's pissed. Like, hey, nigga, that's what we had to do to stop them from either getting $4 million from Interscope, collecting, going to all our distributors and collecting money or just set the judgment aside. Suge never, he never. That's why he got that fucking $100 million judgment because he never understood all of that. It's too deep for y'all. I ain't gonna bash the brother. Told y'all he's a marketing genius, an idiot when it comes to business. It's just real. But he didn't understand that. And so the nigga go. So one day we hear Kurupt on the radio. So now we looking for Kurupt. Suge home about a week, 2 weeks, if that. We hear that the nigga on the radio station right down the street, 92.3 The Beat. I think one of those radio stations. Say, hey, Suge. He in there he in there like some Godfather shit on a mat, laying down, getting his hair lased and getting shit done. Say, Suge, hey, that nigga Kurupt down the street. Hey, Red, take Buntry and them down there. Take some of the homies down there and go get Kurupt and bring that nigga back to me. All right. Go to the radio station. Hey, Kurupt, nigga, I've been looking for you. We've been needing to talk to you. Suge at home. And Suge kind of don't have a bad taste in his mouth for Kurupt because, Kurupt was, while in prison, he just filed for bankruptcy, got out of his deal, and, being cool, doing his thing. Threw a kind of a little shout out to Suge when he did that song, Behind the Walls or something like that, where he said, Simon Behind the Walls, pushing, everybody else talking about like Simon Behind the Walls acting gay. But Kurupt kept it, solid, being Kurupt. And so, go down there, hey, Kurupt, Suge want to holler at you. Yeah. Him, Eastwood, I think, was there. Probably Roscoe, I don't know. Some of the other people, about 4 or 5 of his homeboys with him. They come, follow us to the office, which was right down the street. Go in the office, walk Kurupt up. Kurupt goes in there. Suge like, what's up, Kurupt? Said, man, them motherfuckers, man, Reg said he had a hard time getting a hold to you, doing the thing. You didn't come to court and testified on that shit. And I got this big old judgment against me from no punk ass, snitch ass Kenny Broomfield, because he was in the feds in Arizona. Anybody know about a federal penitentiary in Arizona? Y'all know what that means. And that punk ass nigga Lamont. Kurupt like, yeah. But whatever I can do, Simon, whatever I need to do to get you your money back. And then Suge was like, all right, even though we know you, he didn't say this, but that's me and his conversation is, how we gonna have this nigga come back and, nigga, that nigga gonna work. We gonna work that nigga like a slave. Because, I know what he had done, and I ain't never really liked that shit, but whatever. Ain't my decision. So, we go and hey, if he probably got $2,000 or $3,000 a month being the president of Death Row, I'll be surprised. I don't think he was getting no money like that. But ain't no president making no $2,000 or $3,000 a month. But I don't think Kurupt really needed no money like that then. Anyway, he was okay. And so Suge was like, all right, that president shit was just to get back at Snoop and Das and them, because that's what they really wanted. But Kurupt kept it solid and was like, hey, I'll do whatever. And he did an album on E1 for us to try to help generate some of his money back, because we ended up having to pay those niggas like, they didn't get even the whole $4 million. I think that their attorneys and them ended up selling for like $2 million or something like that. And the Broomfields got that money. And that's why Kurupt came back. It was mainly to work out that debt for that faulty judgment that we got. So yeah, that was the reason. But hey, no shit on Kurupt. Kurupt's a good dude. I mean, y'all know I'll do that double talking bullshit where I say a nigga. I just said the real. If y'all call keeping it real, double talking and all of that, then whatever. I tell the good with the bad. I got goods and I got bads. And I just speak on them and I tell them. But that's the real, y'all. Why Kurupt came back and what happened. But other than that, nigga did a good interview. He keeps it real, in my opinion. Some mistakes were made, like yeah, we wear khakis and Tupac came talking about wearing suits and shit like that. I could put up hundreds of pictures where those niggas was wearing suits and stuff like that, where Pac influence did rub off on them. And so, but hey, everybody got a story. Two sides to a story. And then the third one, right? The truth. Every time people ain't just outright lying, y'all. People just make mistakes or see things differently. So that's my opinion on Kurupt, y'all.